Hello again, J.R. Lewis with you here on KLAM and KCDV. It's Thursday, May the 7th, and it's time for our daily briefing. Not this time with Mayor Copeland. He actually has a meeting he has to attend during this time slot when we record this that has been in the planning for months, having to do with his actual job at Cordova Electric. And so in his place, we get to speak to the Public Information Officer, a very familiar voice on the radio over the years, Cathy Sherman. So she's going to bring us the latest now, and these briefings will remind you again in the 1 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. hours on the radio, also archived at youtube.com/Cordova TV. So here's what we had to talk about. Cathy Sherman, you and I are no strangers to conversation on the radio after years of successfully doing so. This is our first time in this capacity with you as the PIO. So why don't we start with the most current testing numbers? That's the way it happens all over the country pretty much. So what do you got?
Sure, JR. So as everybody knows, we have one positive case as of yesterday. We've had 75 individuals tested, 31 awaiting results, and we have a testing capacity of 1,118 tests currently. And this is as of Wednesday at 2 p.m.
Okay, and on the subject of testing, there has been some information put out about increasing, having sort of a drive-through testing. How is that coming along, and how does it work?
So that was just begun yesterday by the Community Medical Center and Elanca Health Center, and they're alternating sites. So it's free drive-up COVID testing, but it's for new arrivals from out of state. So basically we're looking at fishermen, cannery workers, seasonal workers, people arriving back into Cordova who have come in the past 14 days. They can get free screening test Monday and Wednesday from 2 to 4 at Elanca Community Health Center, which is right across from the Episcopal Church. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 2 to 4 at the Cordova Community Medical Center in the ambulance bay. And all you need to do is you can call ahead for Elanca. It's 424-3622. For the medical center, it's 424-8000, and they'll run you through the pre-registration, and it'll save you time. So go ahead and call first. And then also they've offered up, if you can't do any of those times that they have, they just call, and they will make arrangements to test during whatever schedule works for you. So that, again, is for new arrivals from out of state in the past 14 days.
Okay, good. And information on that I'm sure on the city website. I think that's where I got the version of it that I pulled down to read on the talk show this morning, so people can find that on the COVID site. They
can, and if it's if the correct version is not on there today, it will be today. They have expanded and gone to Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Originally, we just had out Tuesday and Thursday. So It's 5 days a week, and we're going to make sure everybody can take advantage of that.
Well, yeah, that is the...
And I just wanted...
Oh, go ahead. No.
I just wanted to mention, too, that there's still testing if you... These are just testing for people arriving in the community, but still, if people have symptoms and the doctors recommend, they can get tested too. So there's that both available in the community.
Yeah, and ever expanding from the sound of things. In fact, it looked like I thought I saw Commissioner Crum say something in the state news release yesterday about our first case, that there was some other device that they were going to try to get and send to us. Did you hear about that?
Correct. And Dr. Zinke joined our council meeting last night and also spoke to that. And that device, I believe, has arrived in Juneau and is rapidly being repackaged and will come here. And I believe, if I understood correctly, there's also going to be some associated folks come to do some training for Elanca and for the medical center. So, yep, the state has just been a fantastic partner for the community.
Yeah, I was joking with Dr. Zink yesterday that if she doesn't get Alaskan of the Year, if there is such a thing, I'll be very surprised, because you talk about being from just about every account that I've seen at any rate, being a great face of this thing for the state. Now, the first case, as we were chatting while we were warming up a little bit, the first case could arguably not have come in a worse time for Cordova in classic 2020 fashion, which seems to be a year that likes to punch us in the face as often as possible. We had our first case right at the time that there was a lot of momentum toward trying to get some of these smaller businesses open back up. So summarize for anybody that didn't tune in, maybe kind of the outcome of council's deliberation on that matter.
Okay, and this was where my dual hat role was really hard yesterday, because I was dealing with the first positive case and yet knew what was on the council's agenda that evening too. So last night council had a special meeting, which we've been holding weekly to deal with COVID incidents or emergencies. Mm-hmm. And last night, Council passed Resolution 05-2019, a resolution of the Council of the City of Cordova, Alaska, pre-approving Emergency Order 2020-06 regarding the repeal and reenactment of the City of Cordova emergency COVID-19 rules. So that's a lot of words, and what it basically did was kind of put us, it took our emergency order and we moved it into kind of a safe Cordova roadmap to reopening Cordova. Mm-hmm. And we've been discussing this, and we wanted medical input, which we got. The medical team determined that we could safely progress to kind of what we're calling our yellow status. Mm-hmm. And that means that we're going to move forward beginning Friday, May 8th, and I'm sure the mayor will have much more about this tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But basically, we'll be reopening businesses based on the State of Alaska Health Mandate 16, but Phase 1A. So we're kind of yellow. We're not quite where the state is yet, mm-hmm. But we're going to increase things like our businesses can open personal care services, hair salons. Businesses will have to institute distancing measures, limit gatherings of employees, and still continue doing the social distancing measures that we have been doing. The gatherings will be up to 20 people. Mm-hmm. So say a church service, you have to be social distance and mask, but you could have 20 people in a service. Mm-hmm. And so there were discussions like that, and there'll be more tomorrow, I'm sure, with the mayor's briefing, but right. We are slowly moving ahead. There was discussion last night was to start this morning, but what we asked Dr. Sanders, who was kind enough to spend time with us, we asked about the contact tracing they were doing for this positive individual, and she suggested that we give 36 hours to have the state and the medical professionals and the finish that contact tracing, and so that's why we waited till Friday morning. Okay, and that's a term that gets tossed around a lot at the national, even the international level. What is, just for the benefit of anybody who doesn't maybe fully understand what that is, describe contact tracing and how it works for us. Sure, and that was a lot that I learned yesterday as well, too. So we have a nice collaborative effort between the state of Alaska, and so their epidemiology folks who actually spoke with you yesterday, right. The state of Alaska Public Health, our health nurse, and local medical professionals are the team. Mm-hmm. And we had asked, do we have to do contact tracing in our own community? Should we be hiring people? And we don't right now because the state is taking on that role. So contact tracing, basically, it's an investigation to identify maybe who people may have been exposed to in a positive case. So they determine the date of when the symptoms start or when they were tested, because sometimes people don't even know they have it. And then they just go back and double check. And there were things described to us yesterday, like they can get they have the power, the state has the power to get airline manifest so they can see who is sitting in that middle seat or the side seat between these people or whatever, and go back that far and contact everyone who they worked with, traveled with, shared with. And this is just a personal practice that my husband and I have been doing. Is I journal. I've been journaling since we've been self-isolating. If we come in contact, or the days we grocery shop, or, this morning we went to the little Cordova bakery and got Danish. We all had our mask on.
Yeah.
But I wrote down that, that's who we saw today. So I kind of trying to make it easier for someone if this ever would happen to me.
Yeah. Well, and again, there is a pretty good document that I looked through on the talk show this morning that is an infographic on contact tracing. In fact, I think Heather pushed it out on the Cordova Prepared page again.
She did, and it's sitting here right in front of me, so that's for her I was reading.
Yeah. Okay, good. So that's out there. If people want to learn more, we'll just, for the purposes of the briefing, let people know that there is more information on what it is and how Cordova does it. And actually, really, we're at the end of our time slot here. So anything in conclusion for us, PIO Cathy Sherman?
No, I think, yesterday was a little confusing, and I hope to do a better job today.
Oh, it's challenging for everyone. And two, we want to respect the fact that you really wear two hats in the community now, and that when you're speaking to me, just in case anybody is confused or overeager regarding the nature of conversation, you're speaking as the PIO of the emergency management team, and not as a council member. You're not speaking for the council. When you were summarizing what council was talking about, it was exactly that, actions that were taken. And so
that is correct. And so next what I'll do is write up something formal and get it all approved, and you'll see something more formal come out of the PIO office. Yep.
Sure. But hey, when you're the one in the chair, you're probably the best qualified to be a little extemporaneous with it, because you've been to a lot of meetings, Cathy Sherman. All right. Thank you.
Yes, haven't we all?
Thank you so much for your time here today. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. It's good to talk to you, JR.
Always enjoy my conversations with Cathy Sherman, back when we used to talk about the library and the museum, and later on during our tsunami moment when she was the public information officer when we had to send everybody up the hill. A great voice to have back with us here, and we tip our hat to somebody who simultaneously serves on City Council and takes on a significant role with the IMT. Remember, this information comes your way every weekday, 1 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. hours. And then it's also archived on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Cordova TV. All these daily briefings are on there, along with our talk shows. If you missed the talk show this morning, it's available in its entirety also on that same YouTube channel, youtube.com/Cordova TV. Thank you for tuning in. We'll get back to regular programming now on KLAM and KCDV.